see you. Where the hell are you? Relax. I'm right here.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I'll be doing another episode recap for today's Daysofourlives. So we see where Holly goes to visit her aunt Sarah, who's in the hospital, just checking in on her and bringing her some pastries. So she's just asking how she's doing, and Sarah tells her about the condition, that she's paralyzed at the moment, and they begin to talk about how Xander has been there, just racking his mind against who could have done that to her, and he's just in such a mood where he would just take it out on anybody that is in his way, right? So she said, I understand, because I would do anything for the person I love. So she's like, now who do you love, right? So she begins to blush, and we'll catch up with these two later on. So let's go on to the next scene for now. So speaking of Xander, he storms over to the police station, and Jada's on the phone with a colleague trying to figure out the addresses for the vehicles that match the description of who hit Sarah the other night. So Xander comes in while she's on the phone, and he's like, this is where I'd find you, instead of you being out in the field trying to see who really ran over my wife, right? So she's like, excuse me, I don't appreciate you coming in and barging into this office like this. And he's like, I really don't care about your etiquette. Like, you need to find my wife and find the person right now. Like, you guys are not doing anything. So she's like, before you barge in, I was actually looking at the list of license plate number. We have a lead. Like, you just need to allow me to do my job. So it's like he was going to involve his security team at the Kirakas mansion to see if they could help with the motor vehicle license plate numbers and all that. And she's like, no, I don't want you interfering with my investigation. Let us do our job. So anyways, he's like, yeah, I hope you find them, because if I find them for you, they're not going to like it. So anyways, he goes out of there. And let's go on to the next scene. So we see Brady, and he is still wondering, like, who could have taken his car? Who could have took his car? So he gets a phone call from Maggie, and Maggie said that, she received a missed call from him. She's just returning it, and, he's asking how is Sarah doing, and she's saying, she's not really doing well. She's paralyzed. So he is just feeling guilty, because he's like thinking he could be the one that have done it. So he's just a nervous wreck right now, and he's like, what can I really do? And she's like, all he can do is pray for her, and just hopefully they find the person who was responsible for this, right? So we'll go on to the next scene. So we see Fiona, and she's still thinking about what Xander said to her about Sarah being potentially paralyzed and all that. So she's like, I really do hope that things pull through, just for her sake, because she just wants it off of her back. So she was about to pour herself a glass until she got a knock at the door. So it was Brady knocking at the door, and Fiona was like, what are you doing here? So he's like, I really don't know what to do with myself. Like, I just heard that Sarah's paralyzed. Like, why didn't you tell me? So she's like, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you, given that I was just thinking about the mother of my grandchild. Like, I'm sorry I didn't put you as priority, Brady. So he's like, I know you're personally invested in this, but like, I really am just struggling over here. Like, I don't know if I'm the one that did this to her. So she's like, nobody knows it was you, nobody knows, who the driver was, so you need to relax. So she was about to pour, she poured him a glass of alcohol or whatever, and she gives it to him, and he's about to drink, and he's like, she's like, feel better? And he's like, nah, I don't really feel any better, let me take another shot. So then as he was about to do that, and she goes for her glass, knock was at the door, and it was Maggie, right? So Maggie was like, I hope I didn't come at the wrong time. And she was like, sorry about that, I was just sleeping. So she was like, are you up for grandma duties? Because I really need to go check in on Sarah. She's like, of course I'll watch over her, right? So she's Fiona asks Maggie, how's Sarah doing? And she's like, she's not really doing well, and all we can do is just pray for her. So Fiona's like, I'm offering my prayers and just sending, love her way. And she's like, yeah, just pray that they find the person who did this to her, right? So she, went about her way, and then Brady comes out, and she's like, see, there's nothing to worry about. They still don't know who did it. So he went on his way. So we see, we go back to Holly and Sarah, right? Because Sarah was about to find out from Holly who she was really in love with. But then Dr. Green comes in and, Sarah introduces Dr. Green to Holly. And Dr. Green is like, I already know her. She, went on a date with my brother and, left him there halfway to go be with Tate Black. So she was like, oh, that's what happened. So she's like, I mean, yes, that happened. But, Aaron was in on it and we're all good. So, she leaves Sarah, and she's like, she'll be back again and to check in on her and stuff, right? So that just leaves Dr. Green to chat with Sarah and, just try to see that she's okay and that, just be invested in her recovery at this moment. So while this is going on, Tate is at the Horton cabin just exercising, and then he gets a knock at the door, thinking it was Holly, but it was, sleazy Sophia at this point. So she comes in a night robe, and I think she has a swimsuit on. So she was like, need company. So it's like, what are you doing here? I'm with Holly and all that. So she's like, Holly is supposed to be working at this point. I thought we were friends. So he's like, no, we're not friends, given how you slandered her the other day. How can we be friends? So anyways, she's like, I didn't know that it was going to end this way. And besides, just like other guys, you have like pent up energy, you need to release it. Y'all need to go to second base at this point, So he's like, I'm not like other guys, and this is just who I am. Like, I don't need to be pressured. So she just, begins to just, get on to him and try to like, arouse him and all that, just trying to mess up things between him and Holly. So she's like, Holly doesn't really need to know what's going on. So at this point, Holly comes in and overhears her saying that, right? So Holly's like, what is going on here? Like, I can't believe you're really doing this to my boyfriend and all this. And, she's like, it was all harmless and nothing really happened and all that. So she's like, you need to go about your business. So she's like, okay, just make sure that you be on time for the shift and all that. So I'm like, Sophia, you're really that desperate? Like, you really don't have nothing else to do with your social life? Like, this is giving pathetic at this point. So anyways, when she went out, Holly was like, you want to tell me what just happened a while ago? So back at the hospital, Dr. Green and Sarah is there. And then Xander comes in with, some lovely flowers. And, Sarah introduces him to Dr. Green, and he's like, pleasure to meet you. And I'm glad that you're also invested in Sarah's recovery. So he's like, Sarah is like more than a colleague. She's a dear friend. So I'm definitely invested in how well she, she recovers and all that, right? So that leaves the two of them to talk after he leaves. So she was, pleasantly surprised that he brought her flowers, and she's like, given how I look, so he's like, you're always perfect to me, and besides, who gave you pastry? Did Dr. Green? So she's like, no, Holly came in, and he was like, that's nice of her and all that. So she was like, she found out that Holly is actually, have feelings for Tate and all that. So he's like, oh, Brady and Teresa's son, he's probably not a good match for her and all that. Like, I think she could do way better, what if he has some of their genetics and all that? Like, they are not a good match. So she's like, is that the same thing you would do for a daughter? So he's like, of course. So he's just being a protective father, he just doesn't want, he would not let Victoria be with somebody that she doesn't deserve, and he would just protect her and Sarah, just being a protective father and husband, right? So at this point, as they're leaning in for a kiss, Maggie comes in. Xander begins to tell them that there has been a potential lead in Sarah's case, and that Jada is working on finding out who the license plate belonged to that, you know, was involved in the hit and run of Sarah. So they're just really hopeful at this point. So Sarah did ask Maggie where Victoria was. So she just said she dropped her off with Fiona. And I'm saying, you know, even though I'm saying Maggie being a recovered addict, she should have smelled the alcohol of Fiona's breath. But anyways, you know, leaving a child in the hands of a recovering addict or alcoholic is just bad news at this point. So we see Fiona, she is with Victoria, and she's like, you know, I just hope your mother makes a speedy recovery and that Brady just keeps his mouth shut about this all, you know. She just invested in what's good for her at this point. So we go over to Abigail, and she's on the phone with the mystery person, you know, saying that, you know, she don't think she can pull this off. Like, it's getting too much, you know. Sooner or later they want answers from her, you know, and she can't really give them, you know. She can't really pretend to have, you know, her memories coming back and all that, right? So as she's talking on the phone with the person, you know, Chad knocks at the door with some coffee for her, and then, you know, she hangs up the phone. So he's like, you know, how did you sleep? How is everything going? So she's like, she slept well. At some point she fakes having a memory back about, you know, the murder, how she got murdered in the room and all that. So he's feeling hopeful that, you know, her memories are coming back. So she did tell him that she's gonna go to the park, you know, just to see if she can get some more memories, you know, get some fresh air. So he's like, do you know the park? So she's like, she has GPS, so, you know, she'll be good. So anyways, that's that with them for now, right? So while that is going on, we see Jada at Brady's door, right? Because he's back there and he's about to have a drink, and he gets a knock at the door, puts it away, and she's like, you know, I really need to see your car. So I don't know how this is gonna go, because like he can't find his car. So this is already looking all suspicious at this moment. So anyways, we go on to the next scene. So we see Abigail, or whatever this lady name, at the park, right? And she's on the phone, you know, trying to get to the mystery person she's been talking to. So she's like, where is him? You know, where's the person, right? So lo and behold, you know, he's like, here I am, and this he is Dr. Green. So I don't know how Dr. Green fits into this puzzle with, you know, Abigail. You know, I don't know how this works out, but I guess we're gonna find out next week his connection to this all. So that is it, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. Tell me your thoughts about today's episode. You know, what do you think Dr. Green has to do with this all? Like, what kind of revenge plot is this? You know. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy your weekend. See you next week. Bye.